Hey guys, it's Hans Hobbies, and today I have another Redcat to unbox for you guys. I recently sold one of my cars, and I went to the hobby shop to get some parts, and this thing was just so cheap and kind of cool. Something I've been looking at for a while, but just never decided to pull the trigger on it. I decided to pick one up. Now, this is, as you can see, the Redcat Racing Everest 10. If the Everest name sounds familiar, that's because they also use it on the Everest Gen 7, which is one of my favorite trucks of all time. And I'll actually compare it to my Gen 7 in a second. And the Everest Gen 7 is called the Everest Gen 7 because the axles on the Gen 7 and the transmission are the same as on the Everest 10. So that's kind of where that nameplate transfers over to. But unlike the Gen 7, which is unique to Redcat, the Everest 10 is not. You can also get this. You could get this for a long time. I'm pretty sure you can still get it as the Max Stone, which was kind of like Exceed RC Nitro RCX kind of brand crawler that a lot of people have been playing with for a long time. So this is a pretty old truck, but you can see the packaging has been updated and the truck also has been updated a little bit. And I'm gonna open it up for you guys and kind of go over what it's like underneath. Admittedly, I did unbox this already at the hobby shop, so it's not completely fresh unboxing. But here we have the manual here. Bind plug, this standard stuff. 540 motor, standard, the crawler ESC. They're nice electronics on here. You can see it comes in red, also comes in blue. If you know my channel, you'll probably know what color that I chose. But all the little details on the box here, you can get red or blue. You can see I obviously got the blue one. You can see more detail there. And over here, just another thing with the color and then what you need to run it. So, let's get this opened up. This is fully ready to run, and this is, they updated the body graphics of this a couple years ago, and let me tell you, the new body graphics definitely look way better than they used to. Redcat being cool and using just the typical cardboard here. I think this one actually has, it has zip ties underneath. So let me get those off. So let's get the truck out of here. That's a pretty light truck. And then get the controller. Move this stuff all out of the way. And finally get a look at the truck. Some boring stuff I'll get out of the way first. Here in this taped area, we have the stock wall charger on here, which is nice that they give you a wall charger. All you'll need to run this is the 4 AA batteries for the controller. And speaking of the controller, let me get it opened over here. It is, unsurprisingly, if I can get this tape undone. There we go. It is. Oh, it's double wrapped for some reason. The standard RCR2CE radio. No one's surprised to see this. But it is the nicer, updated one, which I like. So, nice radio. I have a ton of these. So, let's put that to the side. And take a look at the truck. This truck, it looks way better than the original one did. The original one had these like yellow headlights that were like really close in together, like here. So that made it look a little funny. So it has a lot nicer looking front grille on it. The graphics are also much cleaner, a lot less busy compared to the old one. The only benefit that the old one had was the old one had clear windows, whereas this one has sticker windows, but that's not a huge deal to me. It's not like this is a super scale body anyway. But I really like the blue is kind of a metallic, and I don't know if it shows up on camera, but it's two different shades of blue, which looks cool. And then there's like a topographical graphic here on the side, as well as on the hood and the roof. And the bed is actually painted in black, or printed in black, so that makes it look much nicer as well. It is the same body shell as the old one, so it definitely feels like the same old cheap PVC body, but the paint job definitely makes it look much nicer. And you can see it has all the new Redcat logos on it, which does look pretty clean as well. I prefer the old logo, but there's no denying that the new logo does look a little bit more professional. So looking at the chassis here, you can see it is not your typical, well, nowadays not typical crawler chassis. This used to be how all crawlers were set up. It was a twin vertical plate platform with two of the same like steering style axles. I'll show you that in a second. And this is how crawlers used to be all set up. The SCX-10 and the CR-01 and trucks like that kind of pioneered the more scale-looking frame rails. But this does have a unique look nowadays. It's not very much used anymore. But the cool thing is, this truck comes in at $150, which is super cheap. Redcat seems to be raising some of their prices a little bit, so in some places it may be like $160, but for that full RTR crawler for $160, that's super cheap. Full tent scale too, so that's really nice. That makes it really attractive, and there's a lot of parts available for it because this is a super popular truck. One, because it's been around for a long time, and two, because it's so cheap. And with the Gen 7 being so popular as well, there's a lot of parts available for it. And you can see it looks really nice with the kind of bronze anodizing to all the aluminum parts. It has aluminum chassis, plates, aluminum caps to the shocks, aluminum links all the way around, aluminum steering links as well, all in bronze. So that looks very classy, looks very nice. You can see one unfortunate thing about these is the double stick tape that comes on these are not very good. And it seems like most of these, the ESC tends to fall off out of the box, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure it still works fine. You just need to tape it again. You can see the receiver also came off here. So that's a little cheap, but you know, just double stick it back on. It's not that big of a deal. I actually had the Redcat Everest 16, which was a 16th scale smaller version of this. That is now discontinued. That's basically the same thing as this, it's just smaller. And that one had the same problem with the ESC and stuff falling off, but you know, not a huge deal. You can see the tires are also kind of unique. They are 1.9 style, but they are very wide, so they're kind of proprietary to these tires. The tires themselves are pretty hard. They're definitely RTR compound, but still stiffer than most like crawler RTR compounds. So a little bit disappointed in the tires, but again, cheap truck. But the cool thing is they do have real bead locks, so if you want to take these off and put different tires, try to stretch some different tires on here or something, that is an option. And also, of course, aluminum beadlock rings in the same bronze. That looks very nice. The wheels themselves are plastic though. You can see, unfortunately, this one still uses the old style banana connectors. These are actually not bad connectors, but they're just not very common, which is unfortunate for a lot of people, because that means you're gonna have to cut these off and solder on new connectors or get an adapter for it. The nice thing about the banana connectors though is if you do decide to go with that style for all of your batteries, it's the same on both the battery and the device. It's just a matter of like flipping it around. So it's not too hard to solder on. You just have to get the polarity correct so you can actually plug it in without shorting anything. So that's kind of convenient, but you know, it's just not very common. The battery, one thing I don't like about this style crawler is the battery has to mount really high up top, which really raises the center of gravity, as well as all the electronics and stuff is really high up. So That's something I'll probably look into changing a little bit. But the battery it comes with is just a typical, like, really basic 2000 milliamp nickel metal battery. Not the greatest, but it will get you started for if you don't have anything to run. I obviously have a lot of batteries, so I'm probably not gonna use that battery. But the motor here is just a 540 motor. It's their cheap 540 motor, unfortunately. That's really slow and kind of weak, so we'll see how it works on this one. It's the same one that came on the ground pounder, just with a different sticker on it. Zip tie. The body mounts to the side. That looks pretty nice. Nice and adjustable if you have wider or narrower bodies or something. So that's pretty cool. Underneath, we see the Gen 7 style axles here, which is nice. I believe they're slightly narrower, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but we'll look into it. Because I'm actually going to be putting some of my Gen 7 axles on here. But if they're exactly the same, I'm not really going to bother. It's Gen 7 skid plate down here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the countersunk screws. It still has these button head screws. So that's probably going to get cut up. That's something that you probably want to change. The drive shafts are the same ones that come on the Gen 7. So they used to be all plastic, but now it has the metal yokes on it with a plastic shaft. That's a nice drive shaft. I have never had a problem with those. That's nice. So overall, very lightweight, very basic, but because of its design, has a lot of articulation. So that's pretty cool. The servo on here, plastic horn. It does seem like their typical. Yep, it is a metal horn on it. So I think it's a metal gear servo. So that's nice. At least it's not the strongest servo, but it will do. And you can see the rear of this truck. The rear axle of this truck doesn't have any lockouts. It actually is the same as the front. The steering is just locked out with these two links. So if you do want, you can mount a servo plate here and hook up a second servo so you can have four-wheel steer. So that will be pretty cool. That's probably not what I'm going to be doing with this. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this one yet. I don't know if I want it to be a real serious rock crawler or maybe a rock bouncer or something like that. I'm kind of on the fence still. It does look like there's some wheelbase adjustment at the bottom, so that's kind of cool as well. I also ordered up some shock tower plates here so I can lower the truck down. I'm not a big fan of this look, so you can see the stock look of the truck is pretty lifted high up. Oops. It's lifted pretty high up. And I would like it to sit more around here, like that, which has a lot lower look to it. Oops. Has a lot lower look to it. I think that looks much nicer. It's going to lower the center of gravity a lot, so that's something I'm going to look into. I'm also going to be looking into, like I mentioned, I bought the shock tower plates here, so I can reposition these shocks to be a little bit straighter, because with them at an angle like this and mounted up like that, this thing tends to have a lot of torque steer, so it tends to drive around leaning like this, which isn't very fun. So that's something I'm going to look into as well. I will probably do a review on this. I won't do it as in-depth of a review of this because it's a truck that's been around for a really long time, and I really want to get working on it and just mess with it as soon as possible. So I'll probably just do like a quick mini review, like a quick little review of it, and then the other videos for it are probably going to be like how to improve it, which there's a lot of videos on YouTube showing you how to do that. But I thought I'd throw my hat in the mix. So we'll see. These shocks are oil filled. They do feel pretty nice. They're pretty decently oil filled, so that's pretty nice. So I'm gonna stick this body back on real quick, and we're gonna do a couple quick size comparisons. So here we have the Everest 10, or the E10 as a lot of people call it, next to my Tamiya Rock Soccer. And you can see the E10 out of the box sits a little bit higher up, but with how I'm going to have it sitting much lower down like this, they're going to be about the same height. They're about the same size as well. They both use kind of Stampede size bodies, a little bit smaller body. Let's see, the tires. are also about the same size. These are actually 2.2 inch wheels, so actually these might be 2.2s, not 1.9s, because they look about the same size. The Everest tires are slightly larger and wider, so we'll see how that does. That does have its benefits and its downsides. They're both set up pretty similar axle-wise, both steering axles, front and rear. So this one's set up with 4-wheel steer, and this one, like I mentioned, can be if you want to. And yeah, they're pretty similar. They're both like twin vertical plate. This one's obviously aluminum, and that one's plastic. And then this one has a also a ladder frame going across it as well. So a bit different here, but they're about the same size. The Everest 10 is slightly bit taller and longer wheelbase, but they're about the same width. It's just the tires make it a little bit wider. Here we have the E10 next to my Redcat Gen 7, and obviously my Gen 7 is not stock. It has a custom extended UMG 10 body on it, but you can see though still that they're about the same wheelbase, which is not surprising because they're essentially siblings. And the axles are similar. I can't actually compare the axles because this one has Gen 8 axles on it right now, but the size of it is pretty similar. The height of it stock with the taller body on it, they're about the same, but of course the chassis of this is a lot lower. If we lower the chassis to be a bit more level, then the E10 is going to be significantly lower here. But I'll bring over that stock axle. Or not. I will show you the stock axle next time, because I had it here next to me, but I apparently threw it inside. So I will show you that next time. But from when I looked at it, they seem like they're about the same axle. The Redcat part, the replacement part you can get from their website is actually an old model, I think, because the part numbers are different. Because the original E10 used to have a front bumper protecting the servo here. So it used to have these two posts protruding out of the bottom of the axle, which this one obviously doesn't have. So it does seem like when they updated the E10, they updated it with the Gen 7 axles. So if you're looking for new axles for this, don't get the E10 replacement axles, get the Gen 7 axles. I think that's going to work a little bit better for you. But I'm excited to get a battery in this, do my first drive, and just kind of mess with it a little bit. I don't know if I'll get all that on film because I have been pretty busy with school, so that's kind of why videos have been a bit slower lately, because, you know, college and just really busy at the moment. So I'm glad I had a chance to kind of take a break and unbox something new and something cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are interested in this, I'll have an affiliate link in the description. They're out of stock of it at the recording of this video, but you can check there every once in a while and see if they have it. Your local hobby store will also probably have it. So just shop around and check whoever has the best prices. Just go with that. So really excited to get working on this and to drive it. So yeah. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give me a like, subscribe, comment down below, all that good YouTube shenanigans, and I will see you guys next time.